Right, let's take a look at this problem. Basic calculator. It looks like it's not that basic. It's a hard problem. We're giving a string s representing a valid expression. Okay, something like this. We have empty strings, white spaces. We have to implement the basic calculator to evaluate it, return the result of evaluation. We cannot use mathematical expression built-in functions like eval. So we'll be using probably stack here because while doing mathematical operations, we are doing it based on their order and also their um, based on the operation actually. And the operations we have are plus and minus, which is yeah. Um, so with the length is like this, they're all valid, not used as a unary operation like plus one or like this. Okay, is valid, invalid. Okay, so all right, could be used as like this is valid. Okay, so how do we do this? Let me just open my pen. Maybe we can just think how can this happen. How can we start? Okay, we have a stack. Let's say that you have this. So I think we will need. So these calculator problems, they most of them you have to use a sign. So you have to create this sign. So I think we should start with plus. We should have a number where we should have 0. So when we encounter a digit, we should just turn this to 1. But if it is something like 23, in that case, when we encounter 2, we should just make the num 2. But when we just move to 3, we should make it 23. So for that, I'm going to use this. So num will be num times 10 plus the current number, which is si, which will be si or something like that. So, but it should be also integer. So I'm going to use something like this to cover the cases where we have a number that has more than 2 digits. Okay, so it's kind of getting in place. So if the si is digits, then we do something like this. Okay, I'm starting to writing the algorithm here, but maybe just let's get back to the main logic here. So we got the 1 here, and so when do we want to sum with? So if we sum with, okay, maybe it's better to go on this one because this one we just sum. But still, actually, this is a bit more basic operation, so maybe we can start with that. So when we got to plus, we should put the number into our stack. So we just put it here. Maybe we should just make the 0 because we put it in our stack. And then when we have this plus, we should also have like operation, something like this, should be equal to plus. This is the last operation we have. And using that, we can yeah, the last operation, actually at start it should be plus. So when we have 1, okay, at start we have num 0. When we encounter 1, we actually maybe we should just put 0 in the beginning to our stack. I'm not sure about this, but I think this should work because if you put like if s is just 1, then we can just return 1 by 0 plus 1. So our operation start is plus, numbers is 0, we make it 1, we just pop from stack, pop it, we have also 1, we plus, we add them, and then we will have 1. And for this one again, similar things should happen. When we encounter 1, we shouldn't do anything, we should go until the next operator, next like yeah operation basically. Okay, and when we encounter this plus or minus, then we should do operation like we should just pop one thing and then do the operation with the current number. So it should be like this: pop, you just pop it, and the operation here, maybe it's plus or it's minus, and the number. And when do we do this? We do this when we encounter operation, and we will be using the previous operation. And then, yeah, we'll just calculate this, put it right back in, also maybe change the operation and then or like operator and then the number we have and also the sign. Okay, so for that, how can we also with our parentheses? Parentheses we have opening and closing. Maybe if this is negative, this also should add to everything. Okay, but it looks like in these cases we can just sum, right? We don't even have to like for this one. Maybe we don't even have to append to the stack because if we have a minus here, okay, if we have a minus here, this will affect everything within this scope. So for that, we should just do these all in stack and then have one value, and then put minus just in front of it so that they are all affected. But in the cases where we don't have any parentheses, then we can, I think we can just iterate over and then sum the previous num with the next one. And I think that will be okay. Yeah, but since we now I think we will have all those in the same. Okay, in order to make this one code, one concise code, I think we should also handle these cases within these parentheses. How can we do that? I'm actually thinking. So now maybe just go over this one, or yeah, we will maybe then just add parentheses like this and then minus just before it, and we can understand it, how to behave in the cases where we have parentheses. All right, so let's start. Okay, maybe just start from scratch. Num is 0, operation is plus, maybe just like 1, and also if it is minus, we will have -1. And we have actually, yeah, actually, wait, I made a mistake. This should be like +1. I will use -1 and +1 because I will multiply the number with this sign. And okay, operation will be plus, negative. Yeah, but I'm actually not sure. Do we have to hold this? Yeah, and this is also the stack. So we will have a stack here. All right, so we skip this part, we get into 2, we change the num to 2, and we see the minus there. We put 2 in a stack, and actually we shouldn't put 2 in a stack. We should just sum the previous number, which I started in the stack, so that's 0. We just sum these and then put it right back in. So we'll just put 2. Okay, I think that's okay. Okay. And then when I put 2n, I should also change the sign to negative. Okay, sign is now negative 1, and I get to 1. I make this 1. I get to the plus. Now I just multiply the sign with number. It will be -1. I add it with this, -1 plus 2 will be well, actually 1. And then we just move on. We should also change this to +1 because we are at this position. We skip this one. We put 2 on top of this, and in the end we will have 2. Just append this. I'm actually not sure about the order. Just give me a second. Okay, I checked some of my notes, and yeah, here I'm basically doing some additional work with when it's not required. So when we have one more, maybe like a result equal to 0. So in this case, we don't even have to use a stack, right? We can have like result. Let me just write it here. The result plus 1, and then plus 1 in these. Like let's say that the result is at star 0. You'll have 1, and then you'll have add 1 here. Then this result will be 2. You can just return the result at the end. And again, here it will be the same. But in the cases where we have parentheses like this, we need to use stack. Yeah, so for that we can just say that. So maybe just start quoting the part where we don't have parentheses. Here, like if si is in it is this plus or minus, then in this case we want to, so result mean we want to, so we want to multiply sign with number, and then number should be 0, and sign should be the new sign we encounter, which will be so if si is equal to minus, else should be 1. Okay, yeah, I should make it like -1 here. Okay, so this is how we move on when we have plus or negative, like minus. In the cases we also have to deal with the cases where we si is equal to opening parentheses, and also closing parentheses. Alright, so yeah, I have to deal with these ones. I'll be using stack, and yeah, so we will just go for every I in range length as we'll just go over this. And at start we should have like sign, maybe like, yeah, result, sign, number, stack operation. Do we care about that? I don't think we need this because we'll be just using this sign here for the operation. We only have minus and yeah, and plus there, and we're not dividing or multiplying, so we don't need those. So result at start will be 0, sign should be 1, num should be 0, stack should be empty, list. And then let's take a look at this one maybe, or I can just quickly create one more example, like 1, 2. Let's go over this one. This should be -3, as you know. So let me just also delete these ones. Okay, this is stack. So let's start. So result at start is 0. We have this. So when we have that, we will just make it 0. The sign and number will be added to the result, which is 0. Then we just change the sign to -1, and then we go into this part. So here we have to append the stack, but what do we want to append? We should append the num, or I think we should append the current sign and also the number we have, or the results. No, I think results should stay same, but we should just put the number. So let's put the number, because we can have something like this. Maybe 2, just put 1. Like we can add this to results. I'm actually not sure if okay, for now let's append both of them, and here sign and 1. Okay, so we have minus. Actually, I don't need the number. I should put this in as a, so that we know this sign. Okay, actually this should be just after it. Okay, we have minus, we have parentheses here. So when we encounter this, we will just pop it again. And we'll be seeing that. Yeah. Okay. So we just append. What about the values there? I think we will just increase. By the way, at the end of this, we are increasing I. So when we just append this, the next item will be just pointing to 1. And now we'll do the basic operation. Now here, I feel like I should append the results. Stack that append results. So if you have 3 until this point, okay, I feel like should just make it like result 0 here, but we append it, we save it there. So this should be 3, this should be minus. Then we don't even need this parenthesis. Because later on we can just go and sum them, right? Okay, just again, I have to check one more thing. Okay, again, here we should just change the sign to 1 because we just saved it. Now it should be positive. When we are popping, we will be using the sign. And okay, we saved the results, we saved the sign. Now when we are popping, let's say that, okay, let's say before popping, let's go over this, when we just go over this, results should be, results should be 3, right? We sum this, we do the operation, like in these parts, we will just go into these, and then we will just sum, we will have result 3, our sign will be, our num will be, in the end, it's 2, the sign should be +1, and then we encounter this. So now we want to sum this 3 with this 3, but this result we have here, it should be -3 because we have minus just before it. So for that, so when we, okay, so results will be first, it should be the, so I think we should do the same thing here. The first thing that we need to do is, because when we are at this position, we should first sum the 1 and 2. So we sum them, we have this result here. Now we want to yeah, maybe it's better to just show it. It's kind of hard to imagine. I mean, I understand it, but like for you to understand, I think I have to show it. Why do we have this part? So we have 1. We just go in. Result is just 1. We come here. Number is just will be 0. And then because we are at this position, now we go to 2. It's a digit. We just go in. The num is now 2, and then in the next one we will just go into this parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and here when we go in, we should sum this 2 and 3 and put it into this, and for that we need this sign, sign times num, put it in number, and then we want to, when we pop, we will have negative, like we will have minus, right, which is actually -1. So we'll just put -1 there. So we multiply that, so we will have our result will be -3 now. Now results, we have to sum the previous one from the stack. By the way, this should be stack.pop. So this should be stack.pop again. And we just popped out both of them and then added to the results. Now we want to change the num to, do I have to change the num? I think I have to. Num to 0, sign should be 1. Yeah, I think I have to do that. And in the end, we just return sign because we might have minus in the end. So sign times results plus, so if you have something like -1 plus 3, we'll have results. Okay, sorry. Actually, if we have like this, in that case, we should have, at the end of that, we should have number times sign plus results. Result is 0, number times sign will be -1 because of this. Okay, we handled that case also, and yeah, I think I can run. Right, it works. Maybe try a few other cases. Alright, it's also working. It's a bit difficult and hard to understand problem, but the key idea is that when we encounter sign here, minus or plus, we have to use the previous knowledge which will be this sign num, and put it into result, and then change the current num and sign for the next calculations. Doing that, we will be always having the information for the previous uh, operation. So if it is minus, then we calculate the current one. So like let's say that we have minus and we have some operation here. So having this knowledge, the sign just before the current calculation just helps us uh, like a lot, because after doing this we can basically uh, multiply this sign with the current, and then we will just it basically means that we just multiply it minus with every like item in this, so we just distributed the minus sign to all of them. Yeah, so that's the basic logic behind it. Now let's try running it. Okay, great. The most confusing part would be, I think, this part where we have parentheses. I think this part is a bit easier to understand, and this is just a thing that you should know. Like in these type of questions, when you have numbers, when you iterate, or if you have like number with more than one digit, in those cases you can use this expression, and then yeah, it's assignment, variable assignment, and it will be much easier for you. And otherwise you have to write a while loop for this, but I think this one line is much simpler and concise. All right, so yeah, here these are simple. In these cases we first append result and then sign. Because of that we first pop the sign, so we multiply it with this. And also like in the first case, we are only doing operations on the closing parentheses, and these when we encounter these operators, when we are opening, we're just appending to the stack. Right, so that was it. The time and space complexity for this problem would be of n and of n. We also write those. So the time is of n, because we just go over every element once. I mean characters. And spaces of n, because we are using stack. We can have maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that case, we will have everything, or not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or like 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus. In that case, you will have n divided by 2 in your stack. So, or maybe like only parentheses actually. Yeah, if you have many opening parentheses, then you can have of n. In the worst case scenario, you can have of n. So because of that, we have to show like this. All right, so that was it. Let me just close it.